If you got it, it ain't a question. Oh, it ain't no room for guessing. No more than emotionally invested. Showing you all my imperfections. Oh, all right, y'all. Hey. We are live again. We should have some people joining in with us here shortly. So I'll give it a moment. Once we start getting our viewers to kind of roll in, then we'll go from there. If somebody can let me know if you're in here that you can hear me okay and we don't have any audio issues. All right. We are here, y'all. Just waiting for those to join in with us. Come on in. Hey. Let me press this button 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna have to get my person down here. Invite or get her on here. I don't know. All right.
All right, well, how the hell do I do my background?
Hey.
On my camera on first and then pick my background?
Yeah, hit your background and then you can get it on there.
What if I just want to blur?
I mean, you could just do a blur, I guess. Hey.
Hold on. You said what?
You could just do a blur, I guess. Aaliyah, you have the moderator, right, where you could go ahead and accept people and let them in. Just want to make sure so I don't have to keep getting up because that's going to look a little... Okay, perfect.
Well, I'll figure that out when it's time. I like how you got your... Now, see, that's some funny stuff.
Just do it. Just go to your background thing, the little green thing, green screen, and click it, and then click on your wind down.
Hold on, girl. That did some games. Oh, no, it didn't. Hold on. Oh, Lord.
Almost made me choke. You almost made me choke. Go to effects, Sahara says.
I know I got it, but this one says wind down after dark, but that's fine. We're promoting it.
Then that's promoting that one too, so we can talk about that one too. That's coming, so whatever. You just gotta download the other one. I downloaded both of them. Hey Tay, welcome in.
Hey, y'all.
All right, we were waiting to get some more viewers, but we're just gonna go ahead and do what we do, and then who joins. So today we are talking parenting, the do's, the don'ts, and when is enough enough.
Yes, indeed.
T, I will let you kick it off if you want.
Nah, why me first? Because you got the notes. You know I'm barbecuing.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to, so with the do's and the don'ts, well, first of all, let's talk about parenting anyway, and in its all aspect. My thing was absentee as parents, mothers, fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers. That's the biggest part. And the roles that they play in these kids' lives, and or don't play in these kids' lives, and the effects that it does have on them, and the results from them absentee parents and influential people that are supposed to be in their lives.
Okay.
So for me, I think it's a big role because our mother was the biggest part of our life, and even in some of her absences, she was still present. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Our grandmothers were big roles in our life. And on our dad's side, a lot of that fell on us as children. Hey, Kaylee.
A lot of that fell on us with not my grandmother, because my grandmother tried everything that she could to pull us that way and to have that relationship and bond with us. So that's no fault of hers. It was just stubborn kids being hard headed and trying to, live outside of what they were supposed to do. Um, so that being said, just got the number 2 gift bag. Okay, cool. That being said, I think the influential people that would normally have in children's lives today are no longer present. Those big mamas, those grandmas, those aunties, those uncles. The ground and structure is not set anymore. And for me, I think that's where we have a lot of these knucklehead children and young girls running around the way that we do. So T, I'm gonna throw it off to you. Hey Nina, hey Candyman.
Hey y'all.
And if y'all want to join at any point and come up and talk with us live, you're more than welcome to do so. Don't hesitate. Come on in. This is what we're here for. We gonna talk about it. I don't know why I said I don't need to see all the extra. She could see all that. She got all that. But T, what are your thoughts on that first little statement and scenario?
No, I totally agree. I wasn't really paying that much attention, y'all, but I know what we talking about, and I still ain't got my drink yet because I was barbecuing. So, we just gonna have to get some people up in here. Y'all come up on them in here because I ain't together yet. I see Tiffany over there sipping. I'm not. That's a problem.
Dude, get it together.
I'm trained.
Lord. So I don't know what happened to her. She just dropped out. She joined again. She dropped out, but she'll be back. Thank you, Nina, for sharing. So that being said, I don't know who this is, but they want to be a co-host. I don't know what that, whatever. Let everybody, if anybody want to come in and talk, let's talk. This is what we're here for. We're here to have conversations. So my thing is just they got this little slogan or the saying that they're using now for these young boys or these young black men or young men of color, and they're calling them YNs. I hate that statement. I hate that term. To me, it's just like using the N-word. It's not something that's uplifting. It's not something that's of empowerment. It's not something that's insightful, and you will never hear me calling any of my young black men or brown men a YN or anything outside of young black men or young brown men or whatever the case may be. I think it's very disrespectful. I think it's very demeaning. I don't respect it. I don't like it. It's not a term of endurance. And that's just my opinion on that when it comes to that term. I don't know what this here means. We'll just keep going. But that being said, also generational curses and breaking those generational curses and starting new trends and things like that with family. I thought she was a moderator. Why she couldn't just get in here? All right. So welcome back. I don't know what happened with T. She dropped off, but she back.
Am I here?
But these generational curses, y'all, I don't know what's going on. Bubba Johnson, we can invite him or let him in. I don't know. I'm just going. Okay, my moderator got it. She's going to keep on top of everything. But also the generational curses, y'all. Breaking those, starting new traditions. Traditions they're not being set no more. There's nothing to give these kids something like a sense of home and a sense of grounding and foundation. That's just my interpretation. T, I'll let you take it from here. Anybody else want to join in and put their 2 cents or whatever in there in regards to it? But I do think there is a lack of responsible parenting and mentoring for these young ladies and these young men today, and this is why we are at the face that we are at, and that's my opinion.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Lord. Yes. Tiff, 100% agree with you when it comes to the whole parenting, being your kid's friend more than being their parent is another thing for me. Um, because you see a lot of kids kind of imitating what their parents do and say. We grew up in an era where it was when grown-ups are talking in the room, we're not saying nothing. We're hi, goodbye, and up out of there.
That was it. Yep. You come in, you say hello, you say goodbye. There is no conversation for you at this table or in this room.
Right. But nowadays, these kids be joining in.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll get my thing right, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And also to the fact where when has it ever been okay for you to party with your kids and drink and smoke with your kids and party with their friends and or date your kids' friends? There's been some stuff that I done seen where I've been like, I ain't never in my life thought that this would be something that would be taking place.
Right.
And to the terms of the way that it takes place, like this day and age and this way of parenting ain't the parenting that we came up with.
Not at all.
Welcome in, girl. Come on and talk with us. Chat it up. Anybody else?
And my background ain't there, but y'all
Thank you, Kaylee Boo.
Hey, Kaylee.
Thank you, baby. We see you for the gift, girl. You know we clocking it.
Clocking it. At this point, I'm starting to think it's me with the video and
Probably. But T, what is your views on parents partying with their children and upholding some of the stuff that their children do, the habits and not the good ones? Because you'll see these parents go to a courthouse before they go to a parent teacher conference, and and shout that out like it's the cool thing.
realize who made a change and didn't.
Right. Hey, Kaylee Boo, we see you in here, girl. Chat with us. Talk with us. Hey, girl.
TMS over there with that.
Oh, mess over here. Yeah.
She was killing me. I was like, she leaving, she joining. I'm like, what a mess.
50
She's
months.
going through it.
No, I completely agree with you. It's like our generation of people, we had our structure, we had our, hard parenting, hard aunties and uncles who kind of, whipped us into shape. And now it's like a lot of those people didn't like that, they're raising their kids to be like, well, I'm not going to be strict with my kids. And now their kids are running rampant. So I completely agree. There's no structure anymore. It's, my parents did it this way and I hated it, so we're not going to do that. But now there's a lack of responsibility and a lack of structure and just like you were saying, traditions, I will admit I've gotten lazy about some of the holidays and stuff because, you guys know my background, so it's hard for me with cadence and kids, but we still try. Christmas we're baking cookies, and Thanksgiving we're inviting all of the family over. There's an open spot at our table, but I feel like a lot of that with people our age, they're not really doing that anymore. Just like another day.
Yeah. And that's the sad thing because it is basically breaking down your family and your family's generation and your family, with the family installed and their children, your grandparents and their children, and and so on and so on. It's not there anymore.
We're
and
losing
it's so
those traditions.
Yeah, it's so disgraceful and it's so hurtful because a lot of these kids don't even know their history or their background or where they came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really sad to me. It really is.
Oh, I agree completely.
Thanksgivings are not the same anymore. A lot of family doesn't get, they don't get together once, this younger generation starts getting older. Things just kind of get bypassed and the years go by and everybody gets older, and then now everybody's either together with it all or a hot mess with it all.
Yeah. I mean, and like Candyman said, kids don't even know their family anymore. Hey, Shy, she done joined us, y'all. It's gonna snow.
Oh,
the hailstorm
Lord,
and stuff. But yeah, these kids don't know. Like even my daughter, for this instance, I try to put it out there as much as I can with, you know what I'm saying, and no fault of me or my people or nothing like that. But there are some ways that some of my cousins, allow their kids to do certain things that I don't allow for mine. And that's not to discriminate against them. What you do and what you allow is what you do and what you allow. But I won't allow for mine to do certain things,
Right.
and or hang in certain crowds, and or be amongst a part of certain parties. That's just me. So when I do, when she doesn't know certain family members that come up to me and talk to her, I make sure that she knows that history, that she knows where they come from. Now, there may be some extra kids down the line from their generation that I don't know because of that separation that has taken place. And again, that's on all parties. That's on my side. That's on my cousin's side. That's on my auntie's side. Wherever the breakage came within the family, that falls on all of us as the elders because our children are being affected by it. You get what I'm saying? To the point where they don't even know who their cousins are anymore. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It really is.
I think a lot of it comes from just parents being lazy in general. They don't want to really deal with their
There you
kids.
go.
TV, tablets, phones, game systems are taking over parenting, what parents should be doing. Not monitoring what your kids watch or play.
Yep.
Just allowing social media and YouTube and stuff like that to raise your kids. Now, don't get me wrong. I will put Divine especially in front of his tablet and like, okay, you got to give me a second. But that's only because sometimes I get overwhelmed as a single mom. And so I'm
Right.
like, I got to have one moment so I can be able to get this done, either rather it's my schoolwork, rather it's my housework, or rather it's just me just stepping away from my kids for a second. Um, and I don't want to put him off onto the older kids as this is your little brother, basically your child, and you have to raise him
Yeah.
Right.
when that's my kid. So
Right.
I think a lot of that for the parenting part is that now with like family kid our kids not knowing their other cousins and stuff like that. I also believe that is because of our matriarchs are gone now, so the family has completely divided.
Yeah.
um
Thank you,
and then
Leah.
sometimes what I've also seen is in other families is that a lot of jealousy.
Oh yeah.
Parents are,
Oh
are
yeah.
jealous that other parents are jealous that this parent might be able to spoil their kids with materialistic things, and it shows. And then once you start talking about that person, it's going to show through the children that you've been talked about because of how they interact with you when in your presence when their
Yep.
parents aren't around.
Girl, yes. I listen. You could tell when a child has been around grown folks' conversations. You get what I'm saying? Because that energy is not the same. You can definitely see it. You can feel it in your bone. The energy shift, the change. You could get all that from that child, and just know that that conversation was being had, and that child wasn't dismissed from that room. And not to say the conversation doesn't need to be had, because maybe it did, but not in that presence of that child. Um, but yeah, and you're right, Kaylee. Kids are not being kids no more. They are not. Like some of these kids, I be looking at, I'll be like, "You're how old? You're only 16. You look like you're like 22, 23." Like life is life for these babies, and it's sad. It really is sad. And some of these babies ain't living to see 15, 16 because they stuck out in these streets and the life that they're living. It's just sad to me. Yeah, no boundaries whatsoever. T, I'll let you take over more. I don't know where she went. I don't know where she went. But anyway, now we spoke on and hit on the young girls. Can we mute her for a second? Um, we spoke on the young boys and this term that they have. Yeah, the audio is going crazy. I don't know what's going on. But we spoke on the young girls. Is the audio getting better? T, moderator, can you mute T for me till she comes back? Thank you. So we hit on the little boys or the young men, and the misguidance from, lack of parenting or whatever the case may be. Now I want to hit on these young girls. Um, I don't know where it's become a thing for these young girls to be out here with their booty cheeks hanging out and their wah-wahs to be up out of their t-shirts and earrings in the nose and tattoos before they hit 18, 16, whatever the case may be. I have seen some young girls that you would have swore that they were walking off Nevada somewhere. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, some of these young girls have no guidance whatsoever. And for the parents to allow their children to walk out like that and think that that's okay and that's cool, that ain't it. Because they're saying that they have no other value to bring besides what their body is surfacing. And that's not it. Because the body is going to change over life. That's not going to stay the same. And there's no hate or shade in it, but you should be able to respect yourself enough. You can go out and still be fully clothed and be presented and say you're beautiful. You don't have to have your wah-wahs out and your booty cheeks ain't got to be hanging out of your shorts. You don't have to have this weave all down your back. And, I just don't understand what's going on with these young girls. We were at a stoplight not too long ago, and I kid you not, the little girls jumped out of the car at the stoplight and commenced to twerking in the street at the stoplight. This is a busy intersection. In the street at the stoplight, getting on top of the car, and you can tell they're no more than 15, 16 years old. This is what our children are bringing to the world, and this is what our future upholds. I can't respect it. And I'll look at the parent and say, you're at fault. I can't even fault the child for you doing what you're allowing your child to do. And at some point, you can't say it's not always on the parent. But if that child is still living in your household and you're still very much present as a parent, then yeah, the fault is on you. And that's where it lies. Moderator, can you let T back in? I don't know what happened or what's going on. What you allow will continue. They need to take responsibility. 1,000%. Now, there are some kids that once you get to a certain point as a parent, you just have to say, you know what? I've tried everything I can. I wash my hands. Whoever your believer is, you give it to the Most High or whatever the case may be. And, let it be. Because, and I say this because sometimes it's going to take for these kids to get a hard, long life lesson or that good ass whooping from life to cower them down and place them in the world set where I should have listened to my mom or my dad. That's Lukey's the sweetest. Why does she keep having to do that for? Can you just make her what you call it? But anyway,
you know what?
You need to get it together, man. You was talking about my
I'm just saying it's for me. Girl, you've been doing a wonderful job. I'm telling you.
Ooh, girl.
You've been doing your thing, okay?
Lord.
Anyway.
Okay, but now we're back on these young girls and the things and the way that these young girls are carrying themselves nowadays without a moral compass or guidance to know that their body is going to change. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Their mental is always gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it might shadow down a little bit or whatever, but you don't have to present yourself like a thought or a thought body. You don't have to live this, what they call a hot girl summer or whatever they doing now. Oh. You don't have to, and I'm just speaking to, because like, I don't know where the dialect went with
the disconnect
women
for sure.
and their, right, with women and their young girls. I don't know how you allow your daughter to carry herself in that form or fashion and walk out that door knowing that the way that she's going out that door, she's going to be interpreted as a sexual object to that opposite sex. Knowing the things that we live with in today's era where there are so many predators against children, and not just females, but males as well. There's so much stuff going on in Colorado itself with trafficking and things like that, where you as a parent can allow your child to walk out that door in that fashion. I don't understand it. Like, where is the parenting? Now it seems like the kids are doing the schooling and the parents is listening to the children. Where did that time change? I don't get it. Sometimes
when they started being their kids' friends.
Yeah. Candyman says sometimes it feels as if the mothers want their kid to fail and end up like them. This is true.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kaylee Boo. We love you too, lady. Catch us again.
See you later, Kaylee.
Jump in whenever you can, lady. No, and that's for real. Sadly, some parents and some girls, some mothers, thank you, Boo. Some mothers will try to live through their children, and we've seen that. You know what I'm saying? That has been life for real for some women and some in our family, where they will try to relive life through their child because you've freaked up your life. You want to try to relive your life through your child. That's not how that works. You don't get a second time at life like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not cool. But I'm gonna leave it in your hands, T. You do some talking, and I'll just do some follow up because I've been talking.
Girl, don't be doing me no. I'll do some talking anyway. Picking back off of Nina saying, that's just a lot of parents being lazy nowadays. 100% agree. There's a lot of the times, and still, this is not even like this day. This was back when, where a lot of parents send their kids to school for the babysitter. Not right. To really. They don't care if that kid gets an education. They don't care what's going on. None of that. They just need that time away from that kid. These young girls mimicking and seeing what their parents do. That's another thing that gets them to where they start to grow up too fast, where that society starts eating at their ass, to where they think they have to have the things that they see society has, the friends and the boyfriends and the girlfriends and the
Yep.
What else what was the other topic, sister? The YNs.
Yeah, I don't. I can't respect it. I will never refer to any young man of color or another young brown brother as a YN or anything outside of young man, or you know what I'm saying. Like I don't get the term that they're using. It's just not. It's not a term of endurement. If anything, it's to make you look less than or less valued. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like young and reckless. And I get it. Some people do live that life and they have no other means outside of that. But you don't have to be that, because you have to live that lifestyle doesn't have to make you that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it.
Exactly.
Each his own.
Let me see if I can come back to this camera without no bull crap.
Yeah, get it together, Linda.
I'm trying, girl. I'm over here barbecuing, trying to cook and some more stuff. It just, the time wasn't timing for me today.
Right.
I was for sure all over the place. Okay, you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. So we hit on, the moms being friends to their kids, or the fathers being friends to their kids, and upholding some of the crap that they uphold. That being said, like, when is enough? Like, how many of these mothers nowadays with these teenagers out here now have had to take their kid to one of their friends' funerals? You know what I'm saying? It's just really sad that I can't think of coming up, and, of course times are different, but I can't think of in our childhood coming up any of our friends that were slayed because of their recklessness. Now, we did lose two friends, Andy and oh goodness, what was his name?
Andy and Scott. We did lose them, but that was by means of somebody being reckless and not living, not that it wasn't nothing to do with them. They were innocent victims in the situation. But outside of that, those are the only friends that we lost coming up. Nowadays, every time you turn around, these babies are losing somebody left and right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And the outside street activities that these kids are doing. Like,
they're not even getting a chance.
How are they getting access to this? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's just too much. It is way, way, way too much.
But then when we put it in perspective of when is enough enough, when does it come down to the parent has done everything that they can, right? And that child is just disobedient. Yeah,
Right.
Candyman girls is catching bullets too. Hell yeah, them straight bullets. Bullets ain't got no name on them.
Right.
But yeah, when is enough enough when it comes to the parent side? The parent has done everything that they could possibly think of to get their child on the right track, but their child just continues to be defiant and wants to, the FAFO type situation. And 9 times out of 10, they are always doing that. Shy, I don't know why you didn't come up. Times are just different now. And unfortunately, kids mimic what they see and hear. True that.
Facts. Big facts.
But when is enough for the parent? When does the blame stop being put on the parent and solely on the child? Because at some point, that child is responsible for the decisions and the choices that they make,
Right.
There's so much that a parent can do as far as trying to stop their child being involved with certain people in certain groups and doing certain things, but you can't be there all the time.
No.
So when does a parent say, okay, that's it, like my hands are tied, there's nothing else I can do,
Right. I think when a parent has given their all, sometimes as a parent you are on your knees till they bleed for your children. You know what I'm saying? And even after then you're still on your knees. You know what I mean? Like trying to make sure and praying that everything's okay and hoping and wishing that, nothing comes at them in a way that's going to affect them and they're going to be safe outside of your presence. But I think when it gets to a point where that parent has other children and those younger siblings are starting to mimic those actions of those olders, because you can break the chain in those younger ones. You get what I'm saying?
That's
those
right.
older ones are going to have to get those life lessons through the legal system or the street life or whatever the case may be. At some point, you have to break those cycles for those next generations not to be affected by it. And it might kill you to do so, because you're basically kind of like cutting the cord or the shoestring from your child. Yes. But you also have children underneath that child that you have to say, look, you chose that life. I tried otherwise. I tried to show you different. I schooled you this way. I tried to give you the best that I could. I was there for you. You know what I mean? I was present. I showed up. I showed out. At some point, as a parent, you have to know, you have to say, it's okay.
It's time for you to show up for yourself.
Right. Right. Right.
And I, for one, have been in that place. Tiff, I've been in that place. Shy, I've been in that place to where, it was that time to where, the disrespect at some point got real loud, and then it was just time for me, okay, I can't keep intervening. Every time something happens, I'm stopping what God got's in the works for my baby, But at the same time, it was like, okay, enough is enough. I gotta let him show up for himself, and he's gotta heal away from me. I gotta heal away from him, type deal. And to this day, we have a better communication. It be a little wonky a little bit, but it's better than what it was. You know what I'm saying? He still be getting on my damn nerve because that's what kids do. But you just be caught up in those situations.
Yeah, you gotta release them with love and pray.
Yes, absolutely.
Pray.
Right. And cover them with as much protection as and healing grace as you can. But sometimes you just gotta let go and depending on who your higher power is, let God, Allah, whatever the case may be, sometimes you just gotta hope that they can wrap it around them and pull them in and let them see what you've been trying to install in them this whole entire time. Shy, I don't know if you want to come up and talk, but just let us know. If so, you just have to hit that request thing or whatever. But Shy says also unhealed childhood trauma, issues that parents have, and they pass it down to their children. 1000% agree. I think that's some of the biggest effects on children, is because some parents are having children and they're not prepared for it. So their scars and their wounds are sometimes warranted, and that's pretty much every parent in this life. There's not going to be one parent that can't say, I didn't do something that I didn't do better with my next child. You get what I'm saying? Like, you learn as you go. Um, and there's some parents that just have it in them and they just don't care, and those generational curses are there, and they keep them going. And them traumas are there, and they keep them going because they know no better, and they're not healed. And if you're not healed,
never
you
started
can't
that process.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And at some point, you have to be okay to say, you're not willing. I can't do that change for you. I can't heal for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what you're not going to do is keep putting me in a situation to where now I'm hurting trying to heal you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
There it doesn't matter, like child, mother, cousin, brother, sister, you know, father, spouse, whatever. You know, you put yourself in that situation to where that unhealed trauma is something else, you know? And these kids do be affected by it.
Oh yeah.
I think Jasmine, when we were talking about next week's, I sent you that video, and that just doesn't go for men in general. It goes for children too. Like, what, instead of saying what's wrong with you, you know, it's not a what's wrong with you, like what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me understand what you're going through, so maybe we can process things better together and find an outcome for you. Yeah, because right now all the back and forth and the disobedient behavior, you got, you know, folks involved that don't need to be involved just because, for what, you know?
Yeah. It's honestly sad that the youth just doesn't know that what their value is. You know what I'm saying? Like right now they are full of gold and platinum opportunity and potential. And I think it's been somewhat stolen by them, in a sense of we're not bringing in some of those things and some of those guidelines that we had when we were coming up. When we walked in, we spoke to every elder in the room. I don't care if your parents were just talking about them or you walked in and you heard your parent talking about them, but whatever elder was in that room, you spoke. Not at one point did an adult have to speak to a child first. We would get our head busted if that tried to happen. Let us walk in the room and we don't address every adult in that room. Hello, miss. Hello, miss. Hello, mister. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we were brought up. Nowadays, these kids will look at you like you got poop on your shirt and look you up and down, you know?
Right.
Yeah, look you up and down like they want to square up with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really sad.
Really. It's over. It's, I don't know. I don't know if, how do I say this? I don't know if the parents forgot that boundary with their children on that level of respect that they have to give. And this goes both ways too, because believe me, so even for an adult, for my children, if you're not being respectful, and my kids know how to depict whether or not they being disrespected or not. If you talking to my kids a certain way and they give you that same energy back, it's because they know, you know. But other than that, my kids are very respectful. Sometimes to the point where I'll be like, you know, well, sometimes I gotta be like, hold on, did you say hi? Did you speak? You know, they be like, yeah, but you know, they do it quick because they don't do really too much talking.
Right. I don't know. I think it's just not installed in children anymore. Like things were installed back in the day. You know what I'm saying? When those big mamas were here and those grandmamas were here and those mothers, like not moms, not dads, but mothers and fathers when they were present. Like I just don't think I just don't think that structure is there. That guidance isn't there anymore. And we are running around with a bunch of misguided children and misguided youth that are trying to be adults because they have no other option. You get what I'm saying? They're not getting it, so they're trying to mimic it. And that's not cool at all.
Yeah. So how do we go about like talking to these kids? Like how do we, you know, instead of making them feel as though we're attacking?
For me, I will have a conversation with any child. But again, you can have a conversation with a child that is wanting to listen and that is willing to listen. Right. And then you have to say to self, this parent of this child may not want me to have this conversation with their child because they may feel like I'm downplaying them as a parent. But they're more than welcome to come have that conversation with me as well. But if any child ever comes to me and presents to me like they need somebody to talk to, or they need somebody of elder to be present, I'm always going to show up for that child.
I'm gonna be there, and I've been there
I'm
to
always
a
going to show
default
up
to
for that
where
child. I don't give a damn if the parent gets mad or whatever the case may be. But if a child comes to me in a time of need, and I can be that listening ear or that voice of reasoning for that child, or that one person that stopped them from doing something to harm themselves or somebody else, I'm going to be that person to listen to them.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything that they're talking about, but I'm going to listen to that child because clearly they need to be heard. Clearly.
Yeah, for sure. Nina says, wait, what was the question? So the question was, at what point do we go to the child and try to talk to the child about their issues, or allow the child to talk to us about their issues? And I guess not have it to where they feel as though they're being judged, or, you know, a lot of the times you won't get a lot of kids that'll come and talk to you openly unless there's something about you that they feel like they can trust, you know?
Right.
Which is cool, but then you get on that other side of things to where there's those other parents that are involved, and you know, they feel like certain things don't need to be addressed and stuff like that, to where it kind of hinders things, you know. So the question is, how do we go about speaking to these children or allowing them to speak to us, especially the ones that are more defiant and just out and about?
I don't know. I think, like with me, I think kids, a lot of people's children, including, of course, including my own, but like a lot of my kids' friends and cousins and stuff like that, that come over, I feel like they open up to me. I feel like it's because I don't talk at them, but I kind of get on their level and their understanding and try to help them problem solve it themselves. Like I ask open-ended questions so that way they can figure it out of whatever they believe they should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And on top of that, I don't judge them because I was, I was out there myself. So
Yeah.
I try to make sure I don't make it like I judging them and stuff like that. And then if it's something really serious, then I'll go and, holler at their parent and stuff like that, talk to their mom or their dad, whoever the parent is that I speak with. I'll talk to them. But if it seems like they don't want to hear it, then I just leave it. Because I told you, you heard it one way or another. Now, if you don't take it and try to make a relationship or fix the problem that's going on or the concern that's going on with your baby, then it's on you at that point.
Right.
And then when do you just like, because sometimes you get parents that are confrontational and just and or in denial about certain things, you know what I'm saying? Do you address them with the situation, or do you just be like, no, I'm gonna just try to hold off and wait to see, if the child goes and speak to the parent type deal?
To me, it depends on exactly what it is, like how serious it may be. If it's something like suicidal thoughts or something that has to do with like a baby not having a goal in middle school or elementary or even in ninth grade, because I believe in middle school and ninth grade, kids have goals of what they want to do after school, whether it's going to college, playing a sport, hell, rather if it's rapping, it's something, you know what I mean? So
have something.
yeah, so if it's like something like that, then I'll go and talk because I'm like, they're lacking something. But if it's something that I know that parent is not going to listen to, then I just leave it alone. But if I feel like they're telling me so I can talk to their parent, I'll ask. Like, hey, do you want me to go and talk to your mom? Do you want me to talk to your dad about it? Stuff like that. And if they say yeah, then I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to step on your toes or anything like that, but your baby was talking to me and this is what they said.
Right.
And they want me to come and bring it to you.
You don't want to stop them from having that safe place with you and you being that person that they can come and speak to for any reason or any matter. And sometimes with kids, it's harder to go to their parent and talk to their parent about something because they may feel like they're being judged or they may feel like they're not holding the weight. Because let's just be honest, like coming up, it's a lot for kids, and even coming up for us, like there was some things that we had to hold and that we couldn't say, because then we'd be like we were weak, or we couldn't be punks. And and even feelings for that matter, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we had to wear our heart like deep up underneath bricks and shields, and to this day we're still tough as nails, and you know what I'm saying, because of what we had to go through in our childhood. And for a child to feel like they don't have anybody to go to, that's wrong. If a child leans on somebody and that person has nothing but the best interest for that child, I say that person should always show up and show out for that child. If the parent has an issue with that child reaching out to that person, I don't understand what the issue would be outside of thank you for hearing my baby in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was something to the effect where you were upholding a child running away or being out here in the street and doing XYZ, then yeah, that would be an issue. You know what I'm saying? For a parent, for a mother, or for a father. But if you're just uploading and uplifting my child for them to have another source to release, I'm all for it. Like my baby can go to anybody if she feels like, she's not going to. But if she ever felt like she needed to go and vent to anybody that was an adult and they honestly had her best interest at heart, I tell her to vent, baby. Let it out. I'd rather you let that out than hold it in and suppress it, and then you end up harming yourself or somebody else. We have to, as parents, I don't know where this guideline came in, where it used to take a village to raise children, and it used to take a village to bring up a whole neighborhood. And everybody's kid on that block was that person's household responsibility. I don't care if they weren't your kids. If one kid was hurt, they would come in your house. If it was close to your house, you would clean them up and send them down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, those things aren't there no more. Those structures, those guidance, that sense of security for some of these children, stability for some of these children, it's just not there no more. So you can see where they kind of run to the streets or run to their friends because they don't have it. Like, why stick around somewhere where it's not there? I see Shy join, y'all. Come on through, sister. We see you on here.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Girl, I don't know how to work this stuff.
Me neither, girl. We learning together.
Yeah, but no, I just want to add to what you guys were saying. I think that how to approach your children is, one, not go in with a judgmental mindset. You have to be open to listen to your child even when it's hard to hear what they have to say. You have to kind of just bite your tongue and sit back and be like, you know what, let me just listen, without judgment, without all that, because the mistakes as a parent that you made yourself. So when you hear your child either make the same mistakes or are headed down that road, you get very worried in a sense as a parent, to where you're like, you're angry, but you're not supposed to be angry, but you don't really know how to channel those emotions at the same time. So I feel like as parents, we do have to do our duties as far as healing. And again, a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of things that we grew up old school wasn't the best way to be raised that way either. To be quiet and not voice how you feel, it was a sign of disrespect. It's just certain things that, as a 40-year-old woman now, I'm realizing that, hey, it could have been better, as a kid. Maybe we could have been taught differently in a way,
Yep. Exactly.
So,
and like Nina said, even your child coming to you about yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like you as a mother or you as a person, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. And sometimes you have to sit with your child and allow them to unleash, the way that they feel like you wronged them, or like you didn't listen to them, or you wasn't there for them in that moment when they needed you the most, or whatever the case may be. They have to be able to release that, because otherwise they carry that and then they pass that down to their children. And that presents another broken person. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to allow these children to come and have a conversation with, and I'm not saying be disrespectful or in any fashion or form, but I'm saying to come and have a civilized conversation and say, hey, Mom, I don't like the way that, that you were talking to me, in that moment, or the way that your voice was raised, or the way that, such and such looked at me at the party. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be some things that our kids are recognizing or seeing or that they don't witness, and we may not have recognized or witnessed. But we just have to allow ourselves to be open and willing to hear our kids. Sometimes it may hurt our heart to hear some of the things that they may have to say. But I'd rather them feel safe enough that they can come to us and say anything, for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. They should feel like they've always got that safe place to come to their parent and talk to their parent about everything and anything.
Absolutely. I do feel like as parents, we do need to take accountability where we fall short. We know, and I'm not going to cuss on here because I don't know how this works on TikTok, but we know the stuff that we've done when we were their age, and definitely was not okay.
Right.
It's just different now because a lot of these kids move without any kind of conscience, like, okay, if I jump off this train, I'm going to kill myself. It's just like, and they think that they're not going to get harmed. That's the sad part. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's
right.
Again, it could be a generational curse of, I don't know, just this world in general, not even from parents. It could just be the influence that this world puts on these children nowadays. And again, as parents, we can do everything that we can, give our kids everything that they need, everything that they want. But unfortunately, we live in a world where social media is so in the forefront.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in the forefront. So even with us being parents and we're teaching them old school and you don't do this, you don't do that, you respect your elders.
Right.
It's so much influence in this world that they don't know if they're going left or they're going right. They don't know which way to go. It's so confusing.
Right.
It puts a toll on these kids and adults too. You see adults still out here doing things they should not be doing at their age. They should be leading by example. You shouldn't be doing certain stuff on social media. You shouldn't be talking about certain stuff, especially grown people addressing children. I don't believe in that. I think that's very out of pocket. I think that right there is just something that you look at the parent, you say, wow, this is why your child is the way your child is, disrespectful, carries herself or himself in a manner that's just going to be, you're raising somebody that's going to be a menace to society. They're going to grow up either in jail or dead because in their mind, they can whoop everybody and can't nobody touch them. And unfortunately, kids, the death rate is up.
Yeah.
So I just think as parents, we just need to take accountability where we fall short and heal ourselves so we can be better parents than what we had. Not saying our parents were like the worst of the worst. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But we know where our parents fell short. And what I'm saying is, do we have to
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
the first step of recognizing that childhood trauma is knowing where your parents went wrong. Although they weren't given the tools, there's no book to parenting.
Right.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to come to a point where once you're healing, you're realizing they didn't know what the hell they was doing. Like there's no more pushing the blame. Like it's because of and a lot of times people just say, I don't want to, let me just paraphrase this. Some folks that are dealing with childhood trauma will say things that familiarize themselves with their parent, and say things like, I just don't want to be like my mom, or I just don't want to be like my dad, or whatever, But what do you mean by that? Once you've really started healing, what do you mean by you just don't want to be like your mom? Because I'll tell you what, once I've healed and realized the things that my mom put herself through her life, and I had to realize the people that she was around and all the fake love and all the bull crap, there was only select few, that was genuinely there for mom, to where it was like, wow, that lady went through a lot. So how can I be that judgmental and say, how could you be doing this, that, and the third when I don't really know what she truly went through growing up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for her, she didn't have that avenue of healing because to her, it was just normal. We had a conversation with mom a few years, a year before she passed away or so. And we were talking about, grandma and them used to go across the head with iron pans and stuff, this cast iron skillets and stuff. And she would say, oh, that was normal, huh, Gail? And they would laugh it off like, no, mom, that was not normal. That was actually abuse. That's a cast iron skillet, Right. But to them it was normal because they never got taught that the things that they were processing through life wasn't what it was supposed to be. It was just what they were told. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So at some point you have to come to the fact of knowing my parent did what they could with what they had, you know?
Right.
And now it's my turn to make sure the things that I know affected me as a child, that I don't allow that to affect my children growing up. Now there may be some rocky roads to where they get it a little bit because I'm still healing on my own, but still at the same time, like we're doing things a little different, a lot different. You know, that's the outcome of breaking those generational curses.
Well, we also got to recognize that we're all gonna fall short. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. We're all imperfectly imperfect. But we also have to know that these are life lessons and life values that we are installing in our children. And what we go through, we grow through. And it's not gonna break us. Will it bend us a little bit? Will it knock us on our knees? Yeah, but you got to keep telling your kid to get up and fight every day because there's gonna be something that's gonna come swinging at them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's life, whether it's school, where there's love, where there's friends, where there's foes, where there's family, whatever the case may be, they gotta keep getting up. Can't say. Mom used to say this all the time. You can't stay down. I'm not gonna let nothing hold me down. Like even if I'm sick, I'm gonna keep moving. Because if I stop moving, then I'm gonna stay down. No, I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. Yeah. Who is that? Aim Wall says I take parts of my parents' parenting style, but adjust it for my daughter and household.
Allie
right.
Boo.
Oh, that's Allie. Hey, Allie Boo. Yeah. So no, you definitely have to, and not again like T was saying. Our parents didn't have no book on this is how it is to be a parent or a mother or a single father. They went with what they knew. And honestly speaking, the way that they were brought up and the way that they were treated, they don't know that was abuse and improper treatment. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a mindset, right? Where our mothers learned coming up and they learned with us to where our kids were so shielded and guided by our mom, where there was so much that she didn't allow them to see that she wanted us to see.
Right.
Tia, thank you.
Oh, Tiff, wait. Pause right there because you say that and I say this because there's a lot of videos going around social media and they're like, oh no, throw the vacuum at them like you did me when I was little when it comes to the grandmas and stuff.
Right.
Those videos kind of irritate me because at the same time, it's like, you go through something to get through something. Me as a grandma, I'm way different as a grandma than I am as a mother. You know what I'm saying? There's a different level there to where I'm fixing all my mistakes as a mother with me being a grandma, and that's a serious move for me. So yeah, no, I'm not going to do the same thing I did with you because hell, I was learning with you. You know what I'm saying? The things that I learned with you wasn't always the best, but at the same time, we got through it. Now we're here,
Right. And that's because those are your grands. You know what I'm saying? That is your greatest blessing to this world is because your children were able to off-seed, you know what I'm saying, their spring. And what you sprung got here from your seed, but it developed into something so much greater. That's why they call it grand. So of course you're going to shield them and guide them because you knew you were still learning as a parent. But now, okay, I got this because I've done this, once or twice before. I've been an aunt once or twice before. So now I know that guidance and that umbrella that I got to put over my grands. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what not to do now in this reference. You know what I'm saying? I know how to shield them better. I know how to mother better. I know how to maintain more than one child at a time and not feel like I feel bad because I'm giving more attention to one versus the other. You know what I'm saying? You learn that. You go through things. But I've seen a couple of those videos as well where it's like, no, they're doing it right. They're breaking those generational curses because they took that vacuum or that pot at your head, but they're not doing it to their grands. They're learning. They're learned,
Give credit where credit is due, We take accountability for the things that we've done as parents because we're still learning. We're making sure that we educate our children in a way to where they know I'm still learning too. Every day is a learning. Hell, I learn from my kids every day. You hear me being a parent, okay? I be like, what is that? What does that mean? It doesn't stop. The learning how to be a parent doesn't stop. You learn as you go, and you're supposed to be held accountable for the decisions and choices that you've made as a parent. Just like you would tell your child, I'm going to hold you accountable for making the decisions and the choices that you've made, because we all know right from wrong. Even as being a parent, you at some point know, okay, I'm not going to do the same thing that I know I didn't like as a child. You know what I'm saying? To my children, type
Right.
stuff.
I just want to touch back on what you guys were saying as far as like with certain discipline,
Absolutely, Tia. Yes, I go ahead. My bad.
certain discipline, you know, choices that our parents have made as far as or how they were raised. Being whooped with certain objects or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that definitely was child abuse. Regardless of how they want to see it, and they say, "Oh, you make them stronger." No, you don't understand what trauma you put on that person. Not normal. Now you got a person that's walking around with PTSD, anxiety, all kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know where it comes from. But it's unfortunate. But I also feel like as adults, we also have to ask our parents these hard questions, like, what happened to you as a child? Like, understand where they come from. Don't go hard on your parents either and be so quick to judge them. Understand them first and get their background and say, well, dang, now I understand why you are the way that you are, or why you're such a great parent, whatever the case may be,
Right.
Well, I feel like
Y'all can hear me. Hold on.
people,
Hello. Let me say right behind you, Shy, because I tell you what, when it comes to a point where you no longer have your parent here,
right,
to be able to say, let me fall back real quick and let me recognize and let me ask those questions. Like, what did you go through? You know what I'm saying? Like, who treated you the worst? Like, those are the questions I wish I would have asked my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that way I can handle this. No, but for real.
Right.
yep, fortunately we were, as far as me and my sisters, me, Jasmine, and Trinika, we were able to have a conversation with our mother and ask her those questions. I'm gonna be honest, it brought a lot of healing to myself, and I'm pretty sure my sisters would say the same. It brought more understanding of, oh, okay, now I see. So you're not so, I don't want to say not emotional, but you understand better. It's a better understanding for you to process it and say, no, was it okay? No, but at the same time, you only know what you were taught. My parent only knows what they were taught. In their mind, it might be okay, and it's really not okay. So I'm saying all that to say, parents, please allow your children to correct you when you're wrong too. It's not being disrespectful. Yes. It's not them being disobedient or anything to that matter. It's like, you know what? I need to take a chill pill. I'm mad at Tom, Jessica, and Sarah from work at home, and my child now is saying, Mom, why are you coming home with this attitude? What did I do to you?
Right.
So allow your children to speak up and voice how they feel. Don't shut them down. Don't cast them out and take it as disrespect. How do you expect them to live in this world when you're casting them out or you shutting them down? They have to be a voice for themselves when you're dead and gone.
Yes.
So just allow them to correct you. And I tell my oldest that all the time. When I'm wrong, please tell me, hey, Mom, what's wrong with you? And every time she does it zaps me back into place. Like, right? You know what? Let me step back. Let me check myself. I'll apologize. If I got to go take a nap, I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then it's always that communication barrier of how you come to me to tell me that I was, in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, you corrected me in a way to where it shut me down right then and there to make me realize, hey, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute,
Right.
And that's the thing. My daughter, I had to stop her one time because she had said something because I was, extra paranoid and was looking for my baby. My baby had ended up falling asleep. And she's like, oh, Mom, so annoying, and then I'm like, dang, so annoying. She's like, well, I didn't mean it like that. That's not the right words I was trying to find. I said, no, you said it exactly how you were supposed to say it. Don't take back how you felt like in that moment, because that's what it made you feel like in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. I have to take that. And I told her I would take that. And I understand. And yeah, that was on me for being extra paranoid about where the hell my baby was. You know what I'm saying? She had fell asleep. But at the same time, it made her anxiety go up. When I rose up with the anxiety, hers did too. And I had to take in account of how that made her feel. in that
Right.
moment. Like, wait a minute, mom, hold on, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was watching, it was either this parenting coach or counselor or something like that. I really don't know. But I came across it just by kind of scrolling on TikTok or whatever. And he said that
Hold on,
when your
y'all.
child
Y'all keep going.
when your child is told to do something, for example, go wash the dishes, and they say, well, why do I need to wash the dishes? You know, a parent might automatically snap and be like, what you mean why? And said you can't react that way. You have to allow your child to express herself to say, well, why do I need to wash the dishes? Explain it in a manner to where this is a responsibility. I'm teaching you how to clean your household when you get a home one day. You know, these
That's
are things
right.
that for children because we know always
They different.
your child so you
They
can,
different.
yes, letting
Yeah.
God, you're teaching them how to survive without you.
That's right.
It
That's
is.
right. That's the number one thing. And a lot of the times still as parents we don't take the account of how we deliver that message. And a lot of the times like, I'll say with my with Junior, I'll be like, one day I ain't gonna be here and he'll be like, oh my God, mom. Saying that kind of puts him in a level like, why do you have to say that? Like, but it's just me bringing reality in. I need to know that you know this, like you got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's frustrating. I understand it's getting on your nerve. I understand it's annoying. But me as your mom need to know you got what you need in order to, to venture off. Because this world now
Yeah.
is really bad than what it was when we were. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to say the least, like even mama in 2021, and it's only 2025, was afraid to let go, not for her own peace,
Mm-hmm.
but because of us. You know what I'm saying? She was afraid to leave us here, type shit. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. And it
But it
wasn't even
wasn't
us.
until
It wasn't even us. It was her grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? Because again, those are her best blessings left here on this earth. Not to say that it wasn't us, but Mama always told us
yeah, because I was about to correct you.
after my grandkids,
She
it's just
always
not
said
about
that,
y'all.
but she always said
You know
that.
what I'm
But
saying?
we always had our thing, and because Mama didn't want to leave me. Cause I needed her the most.
She didn't. She did not want to leave. She did not want to leave her grandchildren. She knew we had it, and me and Mama had that deep conversation
Absolutely.
that night on the way to the hospital. She knew we had it. She knew we had it. It was her grandchildren that she wanted to make sure that she installed enough while she was here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So she knew we had it. It was just making sure that her grandchildren had it because she knew she had installed it in us. She knew how strong we were and how independent we
she
were
knew
and
them
how much of a
grandkids.
go getter that we were. She just wanted
She
to
knew
make
them
sure that her
grandkids was gonna
grandkids
start off a little rocky. A
right.
little rocky.
And that one, that oldest one, that's the biggest one. That one took her about the bed. Like, hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, get yourself together with the Lord when it comes to the Lord, closer, build that relationship with Him, and don't allow the flesh to be something that just consumes you here on earth. You just have to build a
Right.
relationship for your children. Well, pray for your kids. There might be times
Right.
where you forget to pray for your kids, most importantly. Like, don't forget yourself either. I'm not saying disregard you, but make sure you're praying for your babies too, because once you're gone, they're going to be in this world. And yes, we can,
Yeah.
we'll guide and show them in a spiritual way, but physically, we won't be able to do that.
Right. And that's
So,
another thing, like Candyman said, we have to learn how to apologize to our children, mean it, and then also fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't keep apologizing for the same actions and the same mentality and the same disrespect and mentality think that it's not gonna affect that child. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to address it at the head and let it be that. You can't keep putting a wound and a band-aid over that wound and then keep taking it off and using that same wound. You know what I'm saying? Like once you apologize for one thing and you mean it, you shouldn't have to go back and apologize for that same thing because at this point it's intentional. It's not an accident. You
right.
apologize for an accident or something that wasn't intentional. If you have to continue to apologize for the same thing, it's intentional and you meant it and you continue to mean it. Oh, my
Hmm.
bad. Nina said that. My bad, Nina. Yeah, but y'all, we gotta know that it's okay for us to make mistakes. As parents, we're gonna make mistakes. Probably some of the greatest mistakes. But we also have to know that just as much as we're teaching our children, we can also learn from them in return. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more that these kids have to go through nowadays.
That's
So
right.
much more that they have to face nowadays that we never would have thought we would have had to face when we were coming up. Never,
Yep.
ever would we
And
would have
as
thought
parents,
that
we have to
face
take
again.
accountability.
Yep.
That
Right.
accountability is strong.
Yes.
Right.
Like, you got to sit with self and say, you know what, I was wrong, and I apologize for how I came off, or I apologize. And you know what? Even if your child is to the point, because you know they like us still, to where I hear that fucking apology, but fuck you and that apology, because you just pissed me off, because you shouldn't even came at me
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they still feel like that, but you still got that. Okay, I took accountability for what I did. I know for sure that I'm not just doing it to where I'm just trying to, you know, sweep it up like it's over with and want them to feel some kind of way for me as if I'm the victim now type deal. I'm doing it because I know I was wrong,
Right.
and I accept that. And I'm telling you I was wrong, whether you want to hear it now or not. That's fine.
Right.
But generally, when you do approach like that, your kids end up coming back around like it ain't nothing. But sometimes they be like dismissive. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes,
Whatever, you know.
well, excuse my language, but some of them got to fuck around and find out on their own. You know,
Man, come on.
Okay.
Everything that
and it might be a couple of fuck around and finds out. You know what I mean? That it's gonna be a hard head, and
But
that's gonna
sometimes-
make a soft ass. For
I
real.
let them do it. Like, my mama was right, because y'all, I think everybody on here that's watching or in the live, you know, can relate and say, you know what, parents that have passed on, or, you know, our elders that have passed on, you can say, my grandma used to tell me that and I didn't understand it, but now I understand it now.
Tia said, as a child, you know, just because you were a child, you were automatically wrong. You know, like your feelings were non and void. And that's something that it was when we were coming up. You know, that's how it was. Like, if you were a kid and you felt a way, you couldn't really voice that because you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to just wear
Right.
that. Whereas now, no, fuck that. You're a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of what your title or your position is on this earth, you're still human. You feel and bleed just like everybody else. So if something made you feel a way, or something made you feel uncomfortable, or if somebody talked to you crazy, you were entitled to feel and voice that opinion about that, the way that made you feel. So yeah, back then, that's how it was. And no, it wasn't okay, because that's why there were so many issues with children being molested and it not being talked about.
Come on.
You know, by family members. You know what I'm saying? And it not being talked about, and it be swept up underneath the rug. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So
and grown
it's
folks,
not
while we're
justified.
here,
Right.
Go ahead, Tim. Because you
And
got
it's
me
not
going.
justified, but saying that to say this. You can't even let your children go stay the night at family members' houses. You know what I'm saying? You can't even let your children go stay at their friends' houses, because you don't know what that household holds. My baby ain't never stayed. She's 18.
That's right.
She ain't never stayed nowhere but her auntie's houses. You hear me? And there's family that I'm sure that, you know, there'd be a possibility, but she has never stayed nowhere outside of my mom or my sisters. That's it.
Facts.
That's it.
Facts.
And it's not because
Now,
I
let me
don't
jump
trust
back
my
on
child.
Tiffany.
It's not because I don't trust my child. It's because I don't trust what's going on in that household. Or
Around.
what's happening in
That's
that
right.
household I don't allow in my household.
That's right.
So that's just it on that. No, you can't let them play outside, Tia.
You can't let them play outside no more
You can't
neither.
go to Skate City. You can't go to the Boys and Girls Club. You can't go to the YMCA. You can't walk your block. Like, you can't do nothing as a child anymore.
Nothing.
Yep, kids.
So,
Nina, you
say
hit
that-
it on the head. Nina hit it on the head. Kids were supposed to be seen and not heard.
Seen and not
And that's
heard.
what we were told a lot coming up.
Yep. When it comes to the grown folks, how dare you, when it comes to a child that's trying to come and talk to you, dismiss that child as if what they're saying is not relevant
Or valid.
because a lot of the times are valid. A lot of the times nowadays we take this thing, especially when you're not in the process of healing, we take this thing and we kind of shut down on certain things that are not relevant at the moment to us.
Yep.
But it's relevant to our children, and we shut them down, and we're dismissive about how they feel or what they got going on in the moment, not recognizing that you yourself are going through something in the moment as well and can barely handle it. So how do you expect for your child to be able to handle something that you can't handle yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
Right. At your
so
wise
I
old
think-
age. Right.
Right. So at some point you have to kind of step back and say, you know what? Let me be for real with myself and say, I know I can't help my baby the way that my baby needs to be helped. That this has to come from an outside source so my baby can start healing the way that they need to heal. Because
And it's okay.
I don't care who you are, parent or not, your kid is not going to disclose everything with you because they fear that judgment of their parent, someone that they hold sacred. Now, you give them the outlet to somebody else to where they can speak freely and not feel like they're going to be judged, because it doesn't matter. You can install in your kid, I won't judge you, I won't say anything, da, 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 da. That doesn't give them that security, because they're sharing things with you that make them feel insecure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
or uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like there's some conversations that, you know, that a child does need to relinquish and does need to have, whether it's with a cousin or outside source or a therapist or, you know, whatever the case may be. But they do need to have that release outside of their parents, because in a way or in a sense or in a fashion, they're going to feel like my mom is looking at me different now because I came to her and said this, or my mom might be, you know, my mom's saying it like this to me now because we had that conversation about this. You get what I'm saying? So they're, you know, but it still needs to be presented to your child that they could always come to you for any matter and talk to you about anything. Anything.
And I'm one of my moments was with London taking her to, you know, a therapist, and, you know, it was more so of, I need to take my baby, you know, to go and speak to somebody, and I want her to feel comfortable, you know. And then it was my frustrations of, okay, well, were you able to talk? You know, because as a mother, you always want to protect, right? You always want to try to heal or stop whatever it is that your kid got going on. But there's times where you have to back up and say, I can't do that. My child has to do that themselves. And they don't know how to, and they're fighting that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as a mother or as a parent, you still... You want that, okay, like, come on, did you open up? Did you let them know what was going on? Like, did you release? And they're like, no, not really. I'm like, what the hell? What you mean? No, not really. Like, you know, as a parent, you're like, why do you want to stay in that kind of mindset? Not understanding that the mindset that they're in is not something that they want to stay in. It's just hard for them to try to...
It's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, you know?
It's really scary. Because we have to think of it like this, us as adults, even me, and I'm 43, the things that I had to go through with my childhood, with some of the mistreatment by people that were supposed to love and protect me, and you know, without my mother being present, those things still swarm me to this day, to the point where I won't allow my child to go around certain family members, because you're never going to make my baby feel like you made me feel when I was coming up. You get what I'm saying? So saying that to say this, sometimes we as parents try to overprotect because we know what that child has to face. And it's scary for a child to release some of the things that they have to release, because they feel like, if I give it all, then am I still protecting it? Because in a sense, they feel like I'm protecting me. I'm protecting what I've been through. And if I don't put it out there, people can't use that against me or throw it back in my face and say, well, this happened to you and this, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's just a sense of, I need to make sure that I'm not being judged and I'm protected. I'm looking at all the things, y'all. My bad. I'm getting caught up.
Me too. I was circling back, y'all.
But I want to piggyback on the absentee parents. When you know that you have children out here, I don't, whatever the case may be, if you're not in your, if you're not living right and you're not in your right mindset and you can't bring anything to this child in a positive form or fashion, don't try to jump in their life and you're
Please
up and down and you're, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come into that child's life and be that sense of peace and structure and guidance that they need. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
For these parents that have kids, and they're not in their kids' lives for whatever the case may be, but you do have other kids and you're in their life for whatever the case may be, know that you got to live with that, and that you got to answer to that one day, to a higher power and higher being. Right. And hopefully you don't need that child for any life lessons or anything to help heal you in your future or your health needs. Because that child, if it was a child that was scorned and a child that was severely hurt, they're going to turn an eye to you. You get what I'm saying? Every child needs their mother, their father, their grandmother, their grandfather. And it shouldn't be a sense of, hey, baby, there shouldn't be a sense of one child is above the next or one grandchild is above the next. And, you know, we've gotten that because we've gotten that coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've literally lived that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We know that. We live that. We live that, not getting the presents and getting the hand-me-downs because the next child didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? So we know what that is.
Girl, you better speak. You better speak.
I'm just putting it out there. So for those parents that are active in their children's life, you know, applause and accolades to you. For those parents that have kids and they're leaving that other person to be a single parent, shame on you, because you had a part in presenting that child into this world and raising them the way that they're supposed to be raised as well. And if you have favoritism where you're caring for one child and not caring for the next, shame on you.
Right, but and let's speak on them baby mamas that know doggone well
miserable beings
that really want to take care.
Yeah, we're gonna call
be there and want to be involved.
Miserable beings.
You bitches need to wake up and realize that one day you are not gonna be here, and that baby is gonna get older, and that baby's gonna want to know where they came from and where that health background comes from. You dumb broads. So at the end of the day, go ahead, Shy. My bad.
I just wanted to say, and also women, like, at the end of the day, it's not about you. Get over your feelings.
That's right.
He don't want you no more. I'm sorry. He don't want you no more. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Now that you have a kid, do what you need to do for your child. It's not about neither you nor more. Focus on your like, and even if he's not right mentally or whatever it is he's going through, and he just ain't in a good place, he's very stagnant. It's repetitive. Behavior with him, he's not changing. He's not going to do better. It's okay for him not to be in the picture. Maybe that's best for the child. Get himself together and heal, because this is one thing that I noticed, men, period, not just black man, African-American man, but white men and other races as well. Men just feel like, unfortunately, we live in a world where if a man cries or expresses itself, it's soft, it's sensitive, it's not, it's just crazy to me. We're all human beings. We're allowed to vent, cry, whatever it is, regardless of sex, gender, whatever, I just don't understand that. But I also feel like sometimes when men do step out the picture, and I'm saying in the sense of they know they're not mentally there, sometimes the presence of a dad that's not healed or a mother that's not healed isn't the best presence. They just need to heal first, and then
absolutely
their child's life. Sometimes kids are better off without some parents, unfortunately. It's just
true.
Because you can't trauma. If you're not healed and you're casting all that hurt and trauma off to your child, now you raise a kid that's just you.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you on that.
We have to take accountability as parents and say, let me heal me. Not saying forget about your child. I find a way to a relative.
Right.
Say, hey, I need help. Go to a friend. Hey, I need you to step in and help me. I'm not right.
Right.
Yourself together so you can raise a decent human being that has respect, that has morals, that has that wants to live life and live it out and its life's purpose. We all have a purpose here. It's about following it. And if you're at a certain age and you ain't figured it out yet, you got some self-reflecting to do. And I'm not judging, I'm just saying, when you're at a certain age, you know what your purpose here is for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
also, too, at what point is it not a fault of the mother or father if they're being prevented from being? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of it is sometimes it's presented as, oh, he don't want to be present, when for real it's the woman that's keeping that man from that child, or that man that is not being present because he don't want to deal with the woman no more because of who she is. You know what I'm saying? So at what point do you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, what point are they not equally held responsible for their lack of being present?
No, I agree. I totally agree. I feel like, depending on the situation, there's women out here that are, emotional, or men too. I don't want to seems like it's about women, men as well, you know, to where it's like you haven't got over that baby daddy, baby mama, whatever. And you know, you feel away and it's like, oh, I'm gonna keep my child from being with him or her because I'm emotional, I'm in my feelings. But you know what? How effed up are you as a parent?
Right.
Put your feelings in the forefront of your child. Your child's feelings should always come first.
Right.
So, for me, it's just like that's crazy. Even when me and my oldest child's father was having differences, I never. Now, if he wasn't in his right state of mind, I ain't gonna lie. Now, I was like restraining order. I'm getting everything
Right.
put. You know what I'm saying? Like, but also I had to realize, okay, once he heals himself, he'll be good, and that's what he did. And he's a great father. He's not perfect. We're not perfect, but he's there for her when she needs him. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But you also as a mother didn't prevent him from being in his life. You know what I'm saying? You never downed him in front of her, never talked. Even, you know, even though you probably could have, you didn't allow your feelings to offsway your child's emotions and her well-being for her thoughts and her look at her father. You know what I'm saying? Even though you
and
probably could have said some things, but you know, you allowed her views and his actions to offsway that. You know what I'm saying? You never talk bad about him in any fashion or form in her presence. Where there are some mothers that do that. They talk cash, and then not just women. There's also some men that do it as well. Too. You know.
Yep. Candyman said it. One parent often poisons the kid with their feeling on the other parent. That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's to the point where that other parent knows that child needed that absent parent.
Right.
And they, you know, they neglected it. You know, they neglected it. And that child starts acting out and reacting, you know what I'm saying, to all the neglect and all the bullshit. To where, no, it's not that child's fault because they were crying out for what they needed. And because you were being selfish and you didn't want that outcome, you held off on letting that child, you know, be a part of that person's life. Like that, how dare you to stop that growth for that child, you know?
And women, I think we need to realize too that I know we title ourselves as jack of all trades and we do everything and we don't need no man. Yes, we do. We need a man. We need a strong man behind us and in front of us, actually, not behind us, in front of us to lead us and show us. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like women, you know, I never did that with my oldest daughter, and I'll never do that with my youngest daughter either, regardless of what the outcome may be. But at the same time, for me, I just know that I know how it was growing up without my dad. Regardless of life things that my mom went through, regardless, I just know that feeling. I don't want my child to go, none of my children, two girls, to ever go through that. I cannot teach them what their fathers can teach them. Little girls need their fathers, and little boys definitely need their fathers.
Yeah. Right. 100% agree.
Right. Because at the end of the day, no man, I mean, no mother can teach their daughter how a man is supposed to treat her. You know what I'm saying? And no mother can raise their son like a man can raise their son. Now, you can raise your son to try to be better than, but you can't raise your son the way that a man is supposed to raise him.
Right.
The things
and
that
let me tell y'all something. In the midst of me not, because I wasn't even in the process of healing, right? Because what I got taught growing up is the way it was supposed to be. And the way it was women. You know what I'm saying? And we were the overseers. We were that's just what it was. So I'm not going to allow no man to come in my life and try to tell me something about my son. We're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, not even his daddy. And he was locked up. But even then, that was that ego of mine, that pride, that, you know what I'm saying, the not know-how, to where now I look at it to where, no, like my son needed that male figure. Like he needed all of that at some point in his life. You know what I'm saying? And I could have intervened when it was, you know, like a situation to where it was detrimental or going to put my son's life in harm or something like that. But it was never situations like that. But for me to intervene on literally everything, down to how you mow the lawn and how you take the trash out and how to, you know what I'm saying? Just not letting that man be that man in that moment for my son my son missed a lot of that, and he depended on me always being there to pick up, you know what I'm saying, to where when it got to the point where it was the, you know, him trying to find his way as he got older, to where I don't have that respect, you know, because a lot of kids lose that respect at some point in time, you know. They lose it for a minute and then they get it back a little bit. But there was, you know, that instance to where I didn't give my child because I heard him, but I didn't hear him because I was trying to heal, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the process of healing. So,
Right.
but now that I am in the process of healing, I heard him when he said, when I was this age, you didn't let me do this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. When I was this, you didn't allow me to boop, 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 boop. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
to me, then it was, yeah, little nigga, because you didn't need to. You know what I'm saying? But to me now, it was, he needed to experience all of that, because that is a part of a boy that I can't try to feel as a girl,
Right.
as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And so there was important years of his life that he missed out on because I was too busy trying to hover over and guide. No, you're not going to do that because that's not what you're supposed to do. No, because I don't know what the hell he's supposed to do. He's a boy. You know, so there was a lot of things that I missed in that. And there was a lot of things that I wish that I could, you know, come back from and say, okay, well, he experienced that. And he was able to say, okay, you know, Mom Deuce let, you know, such and such, you know. I mean, I think it wasn't until later off where I was like, okay, cool, okay, this nigga's gonna go outside and play football with my baby, to where my baby used to not even deal with his hands being dirty. Like the banana peels on the bananas used to creep him out. Noodles hanging was too much for him, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when he got out there and started throwing that football around and diving in the dirt and some more stuff, it was like, okay, this is a boy. This is what he's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? He kind of dug himself out of that. No, mama, you're wrong. I'm finna do this. Whether or not you want me to or not, I'm finna do it. I'm listening to him today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it wasn't me just saying, no, go ahead and do it. No, go ahead and do it. I'd be like, no. And you better not say nothing either, nigga, because it could be up. You know? That's just how it was. And I regret some of that, to where I feel like my son needed more of a man figure in his life at the time to direct him in certain things that he needed to experience, so he wouldn't be that far depressed and down like how he was when everything hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? For him to be able to show up for himself and be a man.
Right. I just want to say a moment to any of the fellas that are. I just want to say to the fellas, you know, if you're
Mute your phone.
if you have the ability to step into your child's life, or if you're dealing with a baby mama that's just kind of, you know, not allowing you to have that as far as seeing your children and building a relationship with your children, know that, don't give up. You know, go to the courts. You have just as much rights as she does.
That's right.
You're a man
Right.
that knows that he's a good father, that wants to be in his children's life. Do that. Fight for your kids, because I'm going to tell you, they might see it from one point of view. They might see mom like, no, he's no good. He's this and that. In reality, that's not the truth. Dad is fighting. Dad is calling on the other line, but he can't get through to you, you know, to his children. So, father, step up. If you go to the courts, do what you got to do.
Do what you gotta do. And if you know you're not in a situation to where you can do what you need to do, you need to fix that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's most important. That comes first. Is your children come first, because they're gonna look for you one day, and they're gonna either look for you in guidance of, hey, I need to know this about my health history. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know, Dad, did you ever suffer from blood pressure? Did you ever have high cholesterol? Did you ever have, like, these are questions these kids are going to need to know when they get older. You know, and that's what pisses me off.
Children,
right.
You know?
That's what, exactly, because that's just, it's genetics. It's genetics, you know? And a lot of parents are dismissive of that because of their own selfish, you know, mentality on things, to where they feel like they have the upper hand on things, not knowing that one day that child is going to need that father, because, and or vice versa, that child is going to need that mother, because you never know. Today's world is crazy. Like, you know, all these different health issues and stuff that come along, to where you need that direct bloodline in order to survive type shit, you know? I think people just think out of the box. They don't think for the future of their children. They think for the right now, and that's not okay. That's selfish.
Yeah, very much so. And unfortunately, as being a human being, ego always comes to the forefront.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Everybody's emotional. You know, I always hear it's women that's emotional, men are emotional as well. But in the forefront of being a human being is ego. Y'all, you got to drop the ego and know that your children may want that relationship with their father, mother, or whatever. Now, I'm not saying put the child in harm's way or in a situation where your child is riding the block because daddy want to ride the block and, you know, do illegal stuff, or mama want to do the same. Like, I'm not saying put your child in a situation like that. If you know they're not right, then go ahead and do what you need to do with the courts as well. But what I'm saying, if there's a father or mother that's trying to be that, step out the way. You're hurting your child. Put yourself to about your
Big facts.
Right. Right. I think Shy, earlier before you had hopped on, we were talking about the YNs and the young girls that grow up too fast and stuff like that. What's your take on that? What's your take on the YNs? And honestly, I hate that YNs deal like Tip does, that slogan, whatever they gave it.
Yes.
Because they're misled kids. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a term of endearment. It's not something that's empowering. You can't use it and it be impactful. Like, they got to think about what our generations took for us to get to this place. Like Malcolm X, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, like, come on, like Martin Luther King, like the biggest, you know, some of those people, how they got us here. Like, that's not.
Let me give y'all a personal example of what I went through and experienced before I moved out here to where I'm at. This little boy, 10 years old at the time, was literally a little boy. Do you hear me? When I tell you he wanted to just come over to my house and just jump on the trampoline and play with my son, to where he was a kid. Do you hear me? And I seen him as a kid. You know, I gave him juices and chips and stuff out the door like a kid because that's what he was and that's what he portrayed himself to be. But because the environment in which he was in, with his mom not doing what she was supposed to be doing, and you can tell, with the people around coming in and out doing what they was doing, and you can tell, his siblings doing what they was doing, and you can tell, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about drug life, you know?
Right.
That baby fell victim to that, to where, like, a few months later, I see this baby, the cul-de-sac coming to me, like, you know, he's over there selling weed to this car, and I'm like, huh? You know, and to me, it immediately hit me because, hold on, because this is a little boy that I done just, that you got to watch kids around your kids statement is exactly 100% true, because this is a little boy that I sat and watched jump on my trampoline and just be a kid. What do you mean he's out there selling weed? Hold on. Let me see what's going on. And I see what's going on. I'm like, wow. And then I see the household in which he comes from, the environment in which this child came from. He wanted to be a child so bad, but that environment that he was in led him to where, I'm telling y'all, 3 years later, this little boy running around stealing cars, robbing stores, reckless. You hear me? Guns, violence, all this, because he was never given the opportunity in the environment that he was in. And the police would be called and they would come and it would be the same thing. And he'd get right back out and be placed in the same environment versus the state taking him. Oh, y'all, hold on. Because I lost my earpiece.
Because his environment became his reality. That's exactly right. Because what he was seeing, he wanted to mimic. And that became his reality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And girl, like, and that's what I say about, it's so easy for these kids to be influenced by the ones that's closest to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just sad. He became a quote unquote YN even when he really wasn't trying to be.
Yeah, product.
You know?
He didn't become a YN. He became a product of his environment. He didn't become a YN.
Okay.
He became a product of his environment, a misguided child. Misguided youth, because there was no parenting and no structure installed.
But when I tell you,
so he
I
went to the streets.
Door for correction with the parents, and the siblings was on that, you know what I'm saying, type of time, to where it was just, they're not gonna say nothing. I'm talking about I walked around the corner and walked the one of the siblings around the corner, and he seen the chaos going down the street that his little brother caused, and he turned around and said, "Oh, I don't know who that is." Little, hold on, you just told me that was your brother. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? But not taking responsibility or anything. They guided him straight to the streets.
Yeah, and that's so sad and how shameful for the parents, every adult, anybody that was older than this young man, or
Yes, they're responsible.
how irresponsible and shameful. And I think as parents or adults too that are out here having kids, we know what that consists of as far as having sex. You have to make, you have to make the decision on, is this what I want to do? We know how to protect ourselves as far as not preventing pregnancy if that's what we're not ready for. Don't bring children into the world if you know not there. Like, it's unfair. It's not right. And you will have to answer for that in eternal life when it's your time. These kids,
absolutely.
How it's sad. It's sad. And I pray that everybody seeks healing, however way they got to do it, without harming others. It's whatever journey it is, a path that you got to take in life, as far as going to see a therapist, talking to self, whatever it is. If you're not harming yourself or others, get that help, and it's okay. It's not, I don't know why it's frowned upon or shamed. It's like shameful in a sense. People look down on you if you're trying to get help.
Right.
And it's
But it's sad because you'll shun somebody for getting help, but you'll still talk cash shit about them because they're down and out.
Come on.
But when they seek help, you still want to talk cash shit. So either way it goes, whichever way you go to wash your hands, somebody's still gonna have something to talk about. So the best reflection of self would be to take care of self and seek whatever help that you need, because they still gonna talk about you. Whether you get the help or you down and out, they still gonna talk about you. So do what's best for you.
Right.
You have to get to that point in life where you're like, excuse my language, I don't give a fuck about what nobody.
Give a fuck. You hear me?
Right.
An age, if you lost a parent, especially a mother, or you're to a certain age where you're like, my purpose is to continue to live life peacefully. If that means I have to X out relatives, exes, boyfriends, current boyfriends, girlfriends, that's what I'm gonna do for my peace of mind. I gotta be okay mentally for my children. It's fuck everybody else.
Yep. No, for real.
That's what it is. So Nika, to back that,
people see what benefits them, and it comes to their perception. Yeah. No, for real.
Yeah. So Nika, you asked me a question about how do I feel about. Can you ask me that question? Sorry.
Yeah. Hold on. How do you feel about
the YN statement? That statement being used for young black men and young men of color, brown men. That YN statement, and or these young girls out here doing this hot girl summer life or whatever, with their twerking and their booty cheeks are hanging out of their pants and their breasts are hanging out of their shirts. Most of them you can't tell that they're kids at this point. You know what I'm saying?
They between the ages of 11 and 16.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as the term, I don't like it. I feel like it's just like calling somebody, the N word with the ER on it.
Right.
I feel like disrespect. Think that you're casting out what you speak. What comes off the tongue is very powerful. So what you push out there to the universe, you speak it into existence. In my opinion, I feel like nobody should be. That's just like allowing someone to call you, out of your name. That's not the name you were born with. Like that. It's not okay to sit back and be called something. That's not what you are. And if that is what you are, be careful. Be safe.
Right.
Because there's consequences behind this. After jail, you can't escape the two.
Exactly.
So, as far as the young guys, it could be a lot of things. It could be they didn't have a father figure in their life. It could be mama try to be mama and daddy. It can be them hanging around the wrong groups of people. It could be it could be a number of things. That's the thing. You just never know somebody's situation. It's unfortunate, because a lot of them don't realize that there's so many consequences behind it, and it can cost you your life before you get there. How you hear people say, Dang, they were shot and killed right before they changed their life around, and they were shot and killed. Somebody took them, you know. And it's just like, man, you look at it, you say, dang, they were really trying to change their life. They were trying to do better. But then you also have to see that, you know, it's unfortunate. Don't let it get to that point, because, you know, once you're gone, it's just it. We have one life to live. Do what's right. Raise your kids. Live a righteous life. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You know, this that regret, or if you don't have regret, it's okay, but heal from it. Move forward. Don't sit back on the past like, oh, this happened 5-6 years ago. No, heal from it and move forward. Stop talking about it. Just heal, heal, heal. So speak healing over your body. You know, when you pray, ask God to remove it from your mind. You know, just ask for healing. So with that being said, as well, as far as the young girls and the twerking and belittling themselves, and again, it plays back on, is there a father figure in the home? Is there a mother in the home? What kind of environment were they raised in? But I also feel like it also has a lot to do with the industry, with music.
Yes.
All this stuff is sexualized. Music down to the females get BBL. And no disrespect.
Oh my gosh.
If you feel you want to get, that's what that's okay. But also let these little young girls know that there's consequences. There's women that lose their life every single day in surgeries.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to make you within yourself feel better about you. Heal within yourself before you go out here and get all these cosmetic surgeries done. Heal you first before you go do all that, because you're still going to look the same. When you're dead and gone, you're going to look like you did.
It's just a shell, baby.
Yeah.
What's going on the inside? Because the outside is going to be gone when you're gone. The inside is what matters, because, baby, your legacy of what you leave behind. Oh, that person really helped me. That person was this. That person was that. That's the kind of legacy you want to leave behind. You don't want to leave a legacy behind to where it was like, oh, all they did was drink and fight and have issues and drama and you know. You want there to be some kind of story behind you leaving this world, that there was a purpose for you being here. Let that purpose leave with your legacy. Don't let it leave with what, you know, the troubles that you never healed from, you know, and that's where you're just left off at. Like, that's it. No one knows anything else about you besides what you left here for them to realize, you know?
And it comes with age. You know, you learn as you get older.
Absolutely.
As you get older and you age more and you value life a lot more. I think that, you know, a lot of us that go through, you know, unfortunate situations as far as anything, dealing with hurt, pain, emotions, anything that just involves sadness within the mind, you know, the body, it's just like, we all go through it. It's just your turn. Everybody has a turn. But it's like when it's your turn, heal, take time to heal from it. We all go through broken hearts. We all go through, you know, less fortunate situations, financial situations, burden, children, disrespectful. We all go through that. No, I don't care who you are. You went through it in some form or fashion. But it's time to heal you so you could be a better person while you're here. You know?
Yes.
Your children.
All right, y'all. We are. Go ahead, Shai.
I was gonna say, parents, you know, don't feel bad for choosing you sometimes too. Like when you have a kid that that want to be disobedient and want to find out, you don't want your kid to ever be in a situation where they get hurt. You know, there's kids that are dying, man, off of fentanyl, off of all kind of stuff.
Man, suicide is real.
So I'm not saying disregard your child and say, oh, okay, fuck around and find out then. I'm not saying that. You gotta protect your child by all means, but we all know we can't be there every second. We have to work, we have to provide. All we can do is pray that our children know better and they do better, and they're very vigilant and they know right from wrong. Just pray over your children. Pray over your kids. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable thing, is that prayer over your children before they leave out the house, before they venture off into life. Just in general, pray over your children. Because this world is so ugly. You know, it only takes a little bit. We're walking amongst demons every day. Every day we're walking past them. And your children are in that limelight. You guys, we are about 7 minutes in to get ready to end the live. we want to kind of jump back and kind of find positive resolutions to what we discussed today when it comes to the why ends, and we would better term that as the
young, productive, young
kids,
potential black men of our future.
young
That's what I
potential,
want to
yes,
say.
young potential children.
My young
Because
potential
it's not even just the black boys;
future.
it's the Hispanic
Right.
boys, it's the Italian
Right.
boys, it's the Mexican
Right.
boys. It's the, it just goes on and on and on. But what can we do as far as the elders of these kids, because they're looking up to somebody? Like, how can we give that? Because nowadays there's no village, like we were talking about earlier. There's no village. So why would these children feel comfortable enough just to come and talk when when there's a lot of us that are on that level of shunning them away? No, go away. I don't want to hear any of that. Oh, you're just doing this or you're just doing that. I think at some point we have to take accountability as the adult and say this child is reaching out because they need help, they need guidance.
Yeah. So as far as
speaking potential worth and positivity to them, yes, and be present.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shai.
no, I was going to say, because I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
Maybe we can, make a segment one time, or maybe multiple times, however many times we feel we need or need be necessary, to open up the platform for younger kids too to come on here and maybe ask questions and maybe say, hey, handle peer pressure, or how do I handle certain things, like how do I deal? I don't have a parent I could go to, I don't have anybody I can go to, and allow this platform placement a place where there's no judgment. It's just trying to help each other.
Yeah, or even the kids that feel like they've tried to communicate with their parent, but it's just not getting through. Reach out and let's find an avenue for you to where you don't end up being a product of your environment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because maybe you can't get through to your parent, but maybe someone else can. And parents, be receptive of it. Because if someone's coming to you about your child, guess what? Only your child can tell that person about what they coming to you about. So at some point in time, you need to take into account that maybe I'm not hearing. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening, but maybe I'm not hearing what my child is saying, and they're going somewhere else to try to get what they need. I don't want my child to ever feel like they got to go somewhere else to get what they need, unless it's a therapist that I ain't trained to be. You understand me? But when it comes to outside figures that doesn't have that professionalism in them, I don't want my child to ever feel like they can't come to me about something, even, if it's something that's bad,
Right.
Put your pride to the side and listen. Yes, having empathy and sympathy. Most importantly, compassion. That's what a lot of kids miss. They do.
Yeah,
they do.
I think we can always listen to our children, but we also we can listen 1,000 times over, but we have to hear what they're telling us. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand the foundations of what they're speaking to us. Like, we can listen 1,000 times over, but if we're not hearing what they're saying and the words that are coming out of their mouth, we're not gathering that concept of what they're going through and what they're facing. So we're missing what they're trying to tell us. And we can miss things 1,000 times over. And sometimes it takes for somebody else to present that to us like, hey, this baby is going through this. This baby is trying to tell you X, Y, Z. And we as the parent on the other end have to be understanding of, this person is coming to me because I missed something in my child that I didn't see. And this person is coming to me. I'm not going to sway at this person. I'm not going to come off left with this person. I'm going to have an understanding mindset of, they're trying to help me better understand what's going on with my child. Because a lot of parents are standoffish, or they feel like somebody else can't come to them about their kid and tell them nothing about their kid because they're putting on a show and they're trying to get attention, or whatever the case may be. If your child is going outside of you because they've come to you before and presented you ways that something is going on, something's not right, I feel off, and you sway it under, oh, you ain't going through nothing, you ain't lived life to go. These kids have faced more than we have ever had to face ever in our time right now. They have gone through way more than we've ever had to go through in our time right now. So when these babies are coming to you and they're telling you that they have gone through something, trust and believe they've gone through something. They may not have told you that they've gone through it, They might have not have given you a breakdown and a realistic reality of what it is that they've gone through, but they've gone through something. So hear them in that moment, because that may be the only moment that you get. And then you'll feel bad for not taking that in and understanding my baby was coming to me. Now they can't come to me no more. There's right. 1,000 times over where these babies are misguided, and their approach to try to come to you for help is not there. So any kid that may need to come to anybody, or whatever the case may be, if you feel like you need to come to somebody and vent and get something off your chest, and you're not judged, and you need to speak, you are more than welcome to come to any one of us and talk to us about anything, and know that it is okay. Everybody goes through something or grows through something. Like, you're not alone. That's right. It's okay to feel the emotions and the feelings that you feel, and know that people go through things. That's life. We can't let it beat us down. That's right. You gotta keep getting up. You gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep swinging. Don't ever give up. Ever give up. That's right. We're going to go ahead and end this, you guys, with the last comment from Tia saying, listening to understand and not respond. A lot of people need to reflect on that. Sometimes you need to listen to understand versus listening to have a response. Sometimes a response is not always warranted. You just need to listen for a moment. Yep. All right, guys. It's been great. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see y'all next Sunday. I think we're going to try to do a panel next Sunday. We'll throw some topics out there on Tiff, on a poll. Shy, y'all think? Yeah, we're going to do a poll, and I just want to hit on No Man. She says sometimes, kids will open up, and then the negative comment will completely shut them down. So when they open up to you in that moment, don't cast off them as feeling like what they're bringing to you is not valid. It's valid. It's warranted. They're bringing it to you for a reason that made them feel a way. Take pride in knowing that they're coming to you because they felt comfortable and confident, and thinking that you will help them approach that situation that made them feel that way. Yes, we're going to have a poll next time, guys, for conversations. My bad. Yes, let me say this before we leave. If we're still learning as parents, what do you expect your child to be going through? And if we don't have the answer as a parent, how in the hell is our child going to get the answer? That way. Listen to understand. Real life. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to do that poll like Jazz was saying. Shy and Jazz will get together. We'll get a poll together about what we're going to discuss next week. But I think this was a good topic. You guys also tune in to be listening into the recordings of me, Tiff, and Shy, just going over our post sessions of what we talked about. On my background, it's not on there right now, but we have the wind down after dark, and that's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be more talk to where we can talk like an adult. Yes, right. No kids present. Whether it's our sexual life, whatever, we're gonna go in on wind down after dark. Again, tune into there for the post conversations that we've had, as far as our sessions that we've currently had, and for more. Thank you guys for joining. Have a great night. We love you guys. Thank you for loving us. We love y'all. Appreciate you.
Be safe and be blessed.